Welcome back, everybody. It is round number 4 of the F3 Open Wheel Championship on Plebian Racing, and we are at beautiful Mugello in the F3 cars. We've got 10 drivers out here tonight for 2 races, and we'll see if anybody's tires can last through the whole race. We're just finishing up qualifying now. Let's get to the track. See Jeffrey Bray making his laps around. I am joined in the booth this evening by Jordan Nixon. Hello, Jordan. Hello.
Hello.
So, listening to the chatter during practice, it sounded like a lot of folks are having trouble with tire temperature and grip out there. What do you think we'll see in the opening laps here after some difficulties in the first few rounds of the championship, just getting clean races?
I think we're gonna see some action here, and I've already seen a few spins in the first corner, so I think it's gonna be a saucy race. Looking forward to watching it.
Well, let's hope we can get through here with a bit less bent sheet metal and imaginary carbon fiber. Looking at the standings coming in this race, Peter O'Brien, who is second in qualifying, leads by 10 points over James Leader in second. Jeffrey Bray in third on track and third in the championship, 3 points behind. And then it's another 12 points back to Dave Martin. So looking like it's shaping up to be a 3-horse race heading into the last several rounds of the championship. Bray just now, one of only 2 cars left on track. Jeffrey Bray is out there, as was James Leader. Can't tell where he is on the track. We'll see. Oh, well, he's I don't think he's going to set a faster lap this time. We'll go back to Bray. He's through the back section of the course here, coming up to the S's. These are very high-speed corners. They'll be burning up those tires. Last car coming to the line, Jeffrey Bray does not better his time and remains in third.
These top 3 positions are going to be pretty tight. Just looking at the qualifying.
Yeah, all within 4/10 of each other. This is going to be an interesting breakaway at the front of the race. Less than a second though, back to Harris and Martin behind. So some good pairs shaping up in the field.
I'm really interested to see how these tires hold up with the overheating issues. Curious to see what these tires look like, 4 or 5 laps in.
Right, it's really going to be anybody's race. The folks at the front are, going to have to be careful they don't burn up their tires trying to extend their lead, and the folks at the back, if they can take care of their rubber and maintain a stable car through the 20 minutes, they may gain some spots as other folks find themselves in the gravel.
Yeah, I think we may see some surprises here in the finish. I think you might see some of these people toward the back moving their way up just with some consistency.
Yep, and it's interesting. Folks were finding out in practice that these cars do get beached and stuck when they go into the gravel. So even the front runners are not immune to being knocked right to the back of the field and perhaps have to get a tow to get out of there. We have James Leader on the pole, then Peter O'Brien on the outside of row 1, then Jeffrey Bray, DJ Harris, Dave Martin, our fearless leader, will be on row 3, Lion the Red Eel on his outside. And we have a brief waiting period here at the end of the qualifying. See if we can drag someone in here for a pre-race. Let's get our pole sitter in here. Move to. Come on. Mr. Leader, welcome to the commentator's booth. Quick word as the pole sitter. How's the car feeling? And do you think you can make the tires last for a whole 20 minutes?
That was actually something we were talking about. I showed my setup and a couple people were trying it out, and it's apparently very different from Peter's. I've got the diff open a lot, so it's much more stable on corner exit, but it doesn't want to turn very much. So I find that it's actually not too bad to keep it in control, but yeah, other people were having some issues putting it on, and it's a big difference from apparently what they've been running.
Well, it seems it's been working for you. You've been doing very well in the championship. Are you going to be pushing hard to break away from the front or conserving those tires?
I'm not too worried about tire life. It's more about heat management in the middle of the track. We've got a couple of really high-speed right-handers, and that it really cooks the left side tires. So making sure you're aware of that and don't push too hard into the next couple corners and let them cool off a bit. I think that's going to be the trick. So hopefully just keeping it on the track, and we'll see what happens.
All right, fair enough. Well, thanks for giving us your time. I'll throw you back into the race chat, and good luck in the race.
Thank you.
What channel is that? There we go. I had to remember what channel to put him back in. All right, Jordan, we're getting ready for the start. Let me get us off the focus on our beautiful commentary van. Let's see. There we go. There's a nice view of the start, and the lights are coming on. We're about to get underway for race 1 at Mugello. Lights on. And away they go. Looks like only 9 stepping up to the line. Coming over the hill towards turn 1, James Leader in the lead. That's the 18 of O'Brien around the outside, but he's going to tuck in behind. So you can get a slightly wider angle here so we can see a bit more of the action. Everybody just sort of a much more calm start than some of the other races this season, as we haven't really seen anybody go off. It looks like, hang on, we have a caution in the backfield as Ryan C. is off already. It looks like he may have started from the pits just to try to avoid the chaos, and then there wasn't any. So a good start from the field. A nice battle here between Lion the Red Eel and Dave Martin. Martin goes through for 5th place. Bit of a gaggle piling up behind that group. Coming around to complete the first lap. No disasters so far.
I think there might be some opportunities here on the straight with some drafting. Be interesting to see what happens right here.
Right, Lion the Red Eel actually pulling out, not waiting for the opportunity to draft. Must have just gotten a better exit off the corner, and he will go by. Dave Martin, but touches the grass. Still side by side coming to turn 1. Martin with the inside line takes the place back 4 now. Still wheel to wheel. Coming to turn 2, Lion the Red Eel inside here, but Martin inside for 3, and they touch a little bit of a doink, and Lion the Red Eel goes off. Bit of a racing incident there, not enough tarmac for both cars. See if you can get it out of the sand. No. Yes, good stuff. Martin, however, also affected. He may have been caught up in shuffling down the order. So now only barely coming out ahead, and Sid and Medina now take over 5th and 6th.
You're just carrying so much speed through these corners. It is hard to stay side by side. Oh, man, he went off right there. It's tough to keep these on track.
Yeah, a little bit optimistic about his grip, and now his tires are roasty, and he's off again. Oh, my. Medina also off, and he's beached. Oh, dear.
Yeah, as James was saying when we brought him in, the middle of the track just really heats up these left side tires. And Yeah, it gets pretty scary there toward the end once they get pretty hot, and you can see the chaos that's happening here.
Yep. Sid and Medina forced to warp out of the sand, and that means their first laps are all for naught, and they'll now be at the back of the field. James Leader completes a lap and goes through to maintain the lead. Peter O'Brien only 2 seconds back, less than, and then Jeffrey Bray. So the three championship contenders are out to a lead early on in the race. There's Ryan C. coming back through in front of Lion the Red Eel. They are fighting for 7th place. They are still on the lead lap. But and the closest action on track, it seems. Everybody got pretty spread out by all those incidents on the previous lap, and now we're just cruising around, I think. Mugello's a big place. And if these guys get spread out, it could be very hard to get back in touch with each other. Oh, and Lion Red Eel warping back to the pits out of that battle with Ryan C. He must have had an issue and gotten caught up, so he's now back there. Oh, O'Brien off, losing a couple of spots, falling out of 2nd place. I think we're already starting to see the tire fall off with only 2 laps done.
I'm wondering if that might have been a case of Peter seeing the writing on the wall. He saw James getting away and just got a little too hard on the throttle, got a little too aggressive.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough choice to figure out whether to maintain and try to fight for those positions or kind of lay back and keep the tires cool.
Having raced with Peter for so long, I know he's a fierce fighter and he does not like to lose. He does have that championship lead, but you know he can't do too many more of those or he's going to lose out on some more points.
Exactly right, and getting beached in one of these corners is going to drop somebody right to the back of the points. At least with the number of people on track now, everybody who finishes the race will get at least a point in the series. Now O'Brien caught behind Harris. He's going to have to make that decision of whether to fight for the position or, he just gets a little optimistic on the exit and he's into the wall. He was saying earlier during practice that big sweeping corner up the hill was just torture on the tires, and there it is again.
And also, I think trying to follow, because in qualifying and practice, they had a lot of space. So, I think the dirty air behind the other car might have helped push him off the track a little bit.
That's true. He was very close to Harris, trying to look for a window to overtake, and lost the downforce on that front wing. Mugello, usually a good place for passing action, but not when you lose all of your grip on the front of the car every time you get up to make a move on somebody.
And to your point about the points, Sid will be getting his first point no matter what happens.
Hooray!
So congratulations.
Looks like about 7 seconds lost there in the off for O'Brien. He'll be looking to close that gap back up and hopefully not roast those tires too much more.
He should have pace on Harris to catch back up. It's all going to depend on how much damage he took. He did get a little contact with the wall. He looks to be pretty much okay.
Yeah, car seems to be doing fine. Let's see if his wheel is still mostly in line with where the tires are pointed. Again, just using every inch of the track.
Ooh, man, he is playing with fire. These cars are very sensitive to the curbs. So, if you want to be fast, you need to use them, but you're also playing with fire by doing so.
And Mugello, particularly in Soto Corsa, one of those tracks where you just have to memorize which curbs you can take and which ones will just send you off into the weeds. it looks like Peter may have gotten away with one in that contact with the wall. The car is tracking straight and doesn't seem to have lost too much straight line speed. We'll see what his time is across the line. It is a 1:35, so he is catching Harris. And he actually set his best lap of the race there, running around by himself. With almost half the race done, James Leader enjoying an 8-second lead over Jeffrey Bray. This will shake up the championship just a bit, unless O'Brien can catch back up and take third place back from Harris. Game sound has left the chat. Oh no. That's weird. I think it's just very quiet. Just a moment. How's that? On board with James Leader, enjoying his lead. Nobody in front. Although Lion the Red Eel just crossing the line there with his best time of the race. This field currently bracketed by leaders. You have Dave Martin catching up to JP May for 5th place on track. This seems to be where the action is at the moment. Some great custom liveries this season. Let's get a nice look at the Moose Racing ride for JP May here, as we see Martin closing in behind there on the straight. Coming down to turn 1. Martin, again, as we saw with O'Brien, he's coping with that dirty air, but still trying to find a way through. Now down under half a second. Looking left, looking right, showing his nose in the mirrors. Martin very much wants to get around May and into the top 5 here. See if you can boost the game audio a little bit here. Go on board with Martin to watch this chase happen. I have to wonder how many folks are running with the halo turned off. It's not so bad if you have VR and can see around it, but a bit of an obstruction. There we go, got the T-cam going on now.
I imagine Dave is going to be trying to show himself in every mirror he has. The guy in front, trying to unsettle him a little bit, make him a little nervous.
Yep, using every inch of the track again. Almost got himself high-centered on that curb coming out of first set of S's.
This might be it right here.
Got a great run.
Oh, what a pass on the outside. Great move.
That was a great assertive move. Looks like May probably saw the writing on the wall and backed off rather than endanger both cars and continue to contest that place. But a great move from Martin to assert himself into that corner. And now he's off to the races.
We still got 7 minutes left in this. I doubt May is gonna give that up without a fight. So I'm hopeful to watch him come back and try to take it.
And we've already seen that just one misstep on a curb or one overly heated tire could send this flipped right back the other way.
It looks like Peter has narrowed the gap to Harris a little bit.
Oh my, what was that? Dave Martin just
Whoa.
flipping into oblivion there. And
Did he
has
just
now
go a
warped.
little wide?
I didn't even catch that. It just went flipping into the wall and has now lost a lap because I don't think he had made it back to the start-finish line when he warped. Oh dear.
That is very unfortunate, especially after such a great move on a tough part of the track.
Yeah, no kidding. Let's
He's
see.
got to be kicking himself for that.
Yeah, well, he's scored as being only
He-
only 12 seconds behind May. Maybe
Yeah.
he did cross the line. Well, I hope he did, because that way he'll just lose a little bit of time and not an entire lap. He's still wiggling, trying to control that car.
Well, as I was saying before, we saw a car go flying in the air. It looks like Peter is kind of closing the gap in on Harris. He's still got a ways to go, still got 5 minutes, but he's slowly closing it in. I'm sure he's trying to, push, but also not spin again.
Looks like Ryan C. has just gone a lap down to James Leader, who has just finished his 9th lap. Martin still scored in 6th, so it looked like he might have gotten away with one there. We'll see what happens when he crosses the line this time. And indeed, he's on the same lap, so good for him. He kind of got away with it there. Still a frustration in losing another 10 seconds after making that pass.
Yeah, that 10 seconds very easily could have turned into 2 minutes.
That's true. So let's see. Closest fight now is, in fact, O'Brien trying to get back into podium positions.
He's got to be thinking about those championship points. James is coming for him.
Every position he can make up now will help to preserve that gap back to the leader in 2nd. Let's see, we've got Martin off again. Uh-oh. This is in the big carousel at the start of Sector 2. He's trying a little too hard to make up that lost time, and now he's lost some more. Oh, and I flipped back to O'Brien to see how he's doing in this battle, and he's spun again into the wall. Oh, dear. It's coming out of 3, I think. Oh, it's still wiggly. Yep, he's definitely cooked those tires now. It's going to be tough just to get that car going in a straight line at this point.
I was watching him in practice, and he was really struggling in that section. So, yeah, that's a tough break for Peter. I imagine now he just needs to limp that car home. He's only got about 20 seconds back to May, so if he spins out too much more, he's going to lose another position.
Yeah, and he can't afford to do that if he wants to hold on to the championship lead at this point. He's just got to cool those tires and make it to the checkered flag. Meanwhile, James Leader sets another fastest lap for him of this race. Completing 11 laps now. We've probably got this one and one more to go. Oh, unless James has a mishap as he wiggles through turn 2. A lot of people struggling with this car at this track. And there's only so much you can do on setup if the tires are just going to melt.
And props to Leader and Bray. Unless we miss something, it really seems like they've pretty much kept it together for the entire race, which, according to everybody else, that looks like a pretty difficult task.
Sure has posed problems to everybody else, but these two, having exhibited a lot of patience and poise in the other races of this season, it's definitely paying off for them again here. Here's Harris holding on to third place, coming up to lap traffic. I believe that is Lion Red Eel in front, and it is. And he'll have to be just as careful about Dirty Air passing lap traffic as they were fighting for position. Unless these encounters happen on big wide straightaways or something where the blue flagged car can just sort of pull over. They'll have just as much of an issue trying to find the room to make a clean overtake and not get into that dirty air and lose downforce. 16 seconds to go. James Leader has started the 12th lap, so this will be the final lap of the race.
And Dave is fighting for his life, trying not to get lapped.
Well, he
it
was.
does not look like he's going to be able to stay on the lead lap. We will have to be sure to give him a hard time about that.
Oh no! Oh, he lost control and hit the leader of the race. Now
Dave.
James Leader has 16 seconds to get out of the sand.
Oh, he's almost beached.
Well, that was a lucky break following an unlucky one. Martin also has rejoined the track, but Bray is right behind. Fortunately, he's also caught behind lap traffic. James Leader survives another race to come home in first at the checker. Jeffrey Bray bringing home second.
Oh, it
Peter
looks like
Bryant
Peter
off again, trying to make it to the finish. And the car looking a little bit more wounded than it was before. Harris claims the podium. And O'Brien may or may not be able to get back on track. That is May that goes through for fourth. You can see the roasted tires.
He says, I've had enough. I'm going to have fun. Burnouts for distance. You got to love it. It looks like he's one wheel peeling. Does he have an open differential set? It's just that left tire.
Does.
Wow.
I believe that tire is down. I believe the tire has been punctured. It's bad enough when these tires are melty, but when they're actually flat, he's going to have trouble getting back to the checker. As you say, he may not care at this point.
That does make more sense that it would be a flat tire, though. I don't think he's doing this on purpose. Well, you know, Peter got really lucky. Dave got lapped right at the end. Peter would be losing this position to Dave if he hadn't gotten lapped.
That is true.
We do have Dave Martin in chat. So how does it feel, Dave? You could have had an extra position if you didn't get lapped.
Let's go ahead and drag him in here. Oh, crossing the line with style is Peter O'Brien. Let's see if we can get Dave into the commentary booth. Mr. Martin, our fearless leader. You seem to have a bit of an adventure there on the front straight about halfway through the race. Talk us through what went on there.
So, you know how sometimes your eye itches?
Oh, no.
I don't believe you, Dave. How much did Jeff and Peter pay you?
So, I've learned VR, as you know. One hand to move the headset, one hand to scratch the eye. Alright, no knees used to keep the wheel straight.
Dave, you did it in a corner.
Wait. No, that one was different. That one I just fun. But no, there was down the front straight. I just took my hands off the wheel.
I thought you were talking about when you took out James.
Oh, no. James.
I'm just imagining you with your headset off, scratching your eye, just taking out the leader of the race.
No, no, James said, let's race to the line. I was like, all right, cool. And, yeah.
I don't think that's what he had in mind, my friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, so imagine the stars in the eyes of Jeffrey Bray seeing that incident happen in front of him. So luckily, you guys were able to get back on the track. But yeah, that could have been interesting.
It was a fun adventure.
So do we have reverse start for race 2, or are we lining up in finish?
God, I hope not. But we'll see.
Well, better luck, we hope, in race 2, and have some fun out there.
Thank you.
Let's get him moved back into the races. So race 2. What are we going to see now?
I have no idea. If I learned anything, it's that anything can happen. Cars flying through the air. Dave taking out the leader.
Let's get our stylish broadcast van parked back in the pits, and we'll get a nice view of the track. Looks like we're in finishing order for race 2. That's probably for the best, as we've seen some pretty wild differences in pace. I don't recall. I think we had an 11th driver who has since given up.
I believe we're missing...
Sid, I think?
Yeah. Yes, we are missing Sid. I think we had 11 when we started. We're down to 9 now. We're missing 2 people.
Unfortunate. Well, here we go with the start of race 2. Hopefully, with no replays as there were at Dragon's Trail. Lights on, lights off, and away we go. Another relatively clean start so far, but it's still a straight track. Popping over the hill, it's Bray taking the lead. Leader has pulled to the back. Not sure what happened to him on the other side of the hill, but James Leader falls to the back of the pack.
Ooh.
Some more shuffling as Ryan C. has not cleared turn 2. Lion the Red Eel also shuffling positions there. Leader back up to 8th. But Jeffrey Bray and Peter O'Brien making their escape now. Harris in 3rd again, looking to maintain that position. Not sure what happened to James Leader at the start there. I don't know whether he was caught sleeping or just avoided everybody and went to the back. But he now finds himself with a tough task trying to fight the dirty air and get back through this pack. Despite the differences in pace, it's not an easy place to pass in these cars.
Big lockup from Medina.
Yeah, he was caught off line trying to make the corner and didn't quite make it stick. Leader now getting no sympathy from this family battle. Looks like James will probably hang back and just use the draft to get down the straight here as we move up to Dave Martin and JP May. A repeat of the fight for 4th. Martin looking to use the draft. Goes to the outside of T1. Takes a very wide line. May very narrow line. And Martin goes around the outside to take 4th.
Another great pass by Dave. Let's hope we don't see a repeat of last race.
Yeah, we'll stick with this battle for a while just to make sure that Dave can make it stick and hasn't melted his tires. You can see James Leader also catching up in the background there. Looks like this is relatively stable, but we now have Peter O'Brien and Jeffrey Bray fighting for the lead of the race. O'Brien now still in dirty air, doesn't want a repeat of what happened to him last time he was in this position. 2 Red Bull cars going around the carousel. Oh, O'Brien fighting that hot left rear again. Holds on to it this time.
And Jeff did a great job of playing defense there. He had a pretty poor exit coming into that section back there, and he managed to park the car up on the apex. Peter couldn't do anything. It was great defense.
Very heads-up driving from both. Now O'Brien's got to settle down, maintain those tires, but also maintain pace and try to stick with the leader. He's got a lot of points to make up after the mishaps of last race. You can't get too aggressive here. James Leader continuing to come up the pack. In behind JP May, takes 5th place. Using that draft, could May lose another position to a pass around the outside in T1, and he does. It's very hard to, if you've got the other car on the outside, having already mostly made that move, it's very hard to make that inside line stick.
And it's very easy to want to get on the throttle too early and end in a spin.
Yes.
So I'm glad we didn't see that.
Very true. He did maintain the car and hangs on to a place and hasn't lost touch with these guys yet.
Seems that everyone has learned from some of their mistakes last race. This is much cleaner than what we saw. Oh, and
O'Brien
wow.
again in the carousel, cooking that left rear tire and goes around. Oh, he doesn't need that. This promotes Leader to 4th. Bray is has maintained the lead. Harris up to 2nd. Peter O'Brien seeing his championship hopes crumble in front of him. Between these 2 races, I think that 10-point gap has dwindled down to next to nothing.
Yeah, this is going to be a recovery race for him. He's got to really put it down and just be consistent. Try and make up as many places as possible.
Meanwhile, at the podium positions, Leader getting through on Martin in the final corner. Down the front straight, Martin's going to be looking to draft back. Both of these guys have made passes around the outside on turn 1, but they can't both be... Oh, and Martin just drives up the back of James Leader's car. Leaves the pullout until a moment too late, and Leader just with an incredible job holding onto the car there and not just completely crashing out on the front straight. I have no idea how he held onto that car, and now he's taking the place back.
Wow, masterclass driving. That is crazy. Oh, another spin by Peter O'Brien. Man, he just can't catch a break.
Whether it's the tires or the frustration getting to him, he's definitely having his troubles at this event.
I am 100% sure that it is both.
That's probably true. James Leader, after getting rear-ended from Dave Martin, not only has survived that incident, but is now pulling away again from Martin. That was just you could see what Dave was trying to do there, using the draft, getting a run on James on the front straight, trying to pull out at the last moment and make that pass. But I think he just left it a split second too late and just ran up the back of Leader's car. That draft probably gave him more speed than he was expecting. It just kind of caught him out.
Yeah, I think that and a combination of, it's pretty hard to tell how far that wing is sticking out. He might have thought he was okay, and then he just, might have just barely clipped his back tire with the edge of his wing.
Yep, in any case, we saw just some heroic driving from James Leader to hold on to that car, and now he has gained a podium spot. Now sets his sights on DJ Harris, who sets his fastest lap of the race at a 1:35.7. That is Leader pace. Bray, on the other hand, now out to a 2-second lead, no longer being challenged by Peter O'Brien. He's just going to try and make it now. Oh, and we hear some screeching tires. That's DJ Harris going around, and leader goes into second.
And I know Bray was hoping that that Harris would hold up leader a little bit. This is going to be a fight to the end.
It is. And it's also a fight for what was second and may now be the lead of the championship with all the troubles that have beset Peter O'Brien in these two races.
And Dave Martin finds himself in P3.
Yeah, with even post-drama, he's managed to hold on to the car, and he's got the pace to maintain these positions. There's a bit of a gap in between each, in terms of pace between some of these cars, and he may be able to hold on to this if he doesn't make a visit to the beach again, as we see Medina just barely holding on to it. That exit to the carousel is so tricky because that left rear tire just melts. Harris now in fourth, seems to be maintaining control of the car again. May behind him, maybe trying to close that gap. Martin now stretched out a lead, seems to be immune to the draft at this point. And is this a fight for the lead? It is. Bray had an off. He turned to 140, and James with a 134 is now fighting for the lead. Almost had a bit of a bad touch in the rear again from Bray this time. But side by side through Sector 1. Bray manages to hold on to it for now, but leader already fighting for the lead.
Sure does seem that James has a target on his back.
It really does. He's just... I think what you're saying is right on the mark. These guys might just be not used to being able to race this closely on the straights, and maybe either the collision box in the sim or something about the rear of one car and the front of the other. That collision happens when they are least expecting it. But again, James Leader with a heroic save to keep the car on the track. Didn't claim the place this time, but doesn't seem to have lost out too much.
I think we're going to see a repeat of the last lap. I think he's going to get a run on the straight, and Bray is going to have to hold him off again, hopefully without a tap this time.
Indeed. Let's go on board with James Leader as we come down the front straight.
Weaving back and forth, trying to break the toe.
Leader pinning Bray to the inside. All the way to the edge, leaving that room. Leader through on the outside and into the lead of the race. Now, can Bray keep this interval small and do the same to James Leader as we hit the front straight? Well, maybe, maybe not. James Leader already out to a second on Bray before they're out of Sector 1. I think you hit the nail on the head there. This is just a masterclass of driving technique. James just seems unassailable tonight. As we see Medina, who was in a battle with Lion Red Eel, again, may have run afoul of some dirty air, couldn't hold on to the car. O'Brien, 4 seconds back from that, just trying to recover this race, anything he can from this race.
Just thinking back to the interview that James gave, he said he had geared the car a little bit more toward understeer, trying to help it just get out of the corners. And I think we're seeing that right now. Everybody else is struggling really hard coming out of corners, and he's just, he's suffering a little bit going in, but he's just getting such good exits.
Yeah, that's true. And, that might allow him to even out the heat distribution in those tires. And what would make everybody else terminally loose on corner exit is just bringing him into range of some decent handling.
And there we go. James Leader has the purple lap. Oh, looks like
Martin sets his fastest lap of the race, 136.2.
That's just their fast. I thought that was
Right.
fastest lap of the race. Okay, my bad.
But this looks like a battle brewing between Martin and Harris. Harris is gonna want this position back that he lost when he spun. Under half a second now, but he'll be dealing with that dirty air. Meanwhile, O'Brien, 12 seconds faster than Medina. I think he's going to take this into turn 1, but nothing's a guarantee. Looks like
watching that throttle application.
Looks like O'Brien might be bottoming out in some of these corners. That's probably not helping his handling either. Looks like he's made that stick. Meanwhile, Harris still trying to get through on Martin. That gap now stretching back out to about half a second. Harris sitting in 8th place in the championship.
He's shown some really good pace this race. If it's very possible he makes a move on Dave, and he may have a shot to catch up to Bray. Bray has already lost 4 seconds to leader.
That is true. Leader driving away with this one. 2 seconds faster than Bray on that lap. Martin also faster than Bray in 3rd. So he's closing the gap to 2nd. We could see a 3-horse race here for the 2nd step of the podium before the end of the race. 6:45 to go. Make that about 4 laps to the end. Harris cooking his tires trying to catch Dave Martin.
He is pushing hard. You can see it.
Well, he had the position once, and he knows he has had the pace on Dave Martin in the past. But Martin turning on those lap times in the last couple of laps. He's picking it up, and now he's got 2nd place in sight. That's going to only spur him on harder. Peter O'Brien has gone to the pits, and Dave Martin spins around the carousel, cooked his tires, and Harris is back for 3rd. Well, Dave's going to be frustrated with himself for that. But speaking of frustrated, as I was saying, Peter O'Brien has pulled into the pits and parked it. He'll take 9th place points, it seems. Martin spinning again through the carousel, May getting through for 4th. Suddenly, Dave Martin's podium dreams have crumbled before his eyes.
There's an upside to this, though. Dave is going to beat Peter O'Brien.
It's true. It's true. Assuming that he gets back to the start-finish line at least once.
That is true. That's true. I know that he will be ecstatic to beat Peter O'Brien.
It is an achievement unlocked for sure.
He will not let him forget that. Hey, and from our chat, we have O'Brien wash confirmed.
Oh, no.
Me and Peter are good buddies. I got to roast him a little bit. And I told him before the stream I would roast him. So there we go.
Fair enough. He's been warned.
He knew it was coming.
A 1:53.8 for Martin that time with the dramas unfolding. He's now 3 seconds back from May. Line the radio with a 1:39, also having his troubles getting around the track. James Leader, 5 seconds to the good of Jeffrey Bray at this point. It's hard to find fault in a single thing that has gone on in James Leader's race. He's been assaulted from all sides, and now with clear air is just running away.
Absolutely. He has been tested, and he earned that position. But it is not over. Anything can still happen.
Absolutely. These tires are apt to surprise people as we go around. On board now with Bray, you can only barely see James Leader in sight ahead. Imagine, Jeffrey Bray has run a very good race, but and he led the first several laps, but to have James Leader come up behind him, make the move, and then just disappear, it's got to be a strange feeling for somebody with the pace of somebody like Jeffrey Bray to see this happen.
Absolutely. Bray is no slouch, and I think it just shows, what Leader has found in this car. He's just figured it out, and it seems like everybody else is still struggling a bit. Ryan
C with some extracurricular activities again, just trying to find
Ooh,
any kind
looks
of
like we
pace.
have May and Martin switching positions back and forth. It looks like we got a great fight there.
Oh, yep, another draft down the back straight. Martin is caught up. Or is this May catching up? I think it may be May catching up for 4th place. Oh, this is quite a duel all of a sudden.
I believe that was Dave that made the pass because he spun out earlier.
Ooh, May surviving a trip off the course there. You can see the trepidation there from May, not wanting to get too close to those outside curbs, because touching them with these roasted tires could spell disaster very quickly.
As we see the lockup from Dave in front. Almost running wide.
A 1:33.8 from James Leader. That's got to be the fastest lap of the race.
He is just cooking right now.
2 seconds faster than Bray on that lap. It seems like with everybody's car getting worse and worse with every lap, James Leader's car is getting better.
It looks like Ryan Clark had another off. That's tough.
And the issue with cars like this, once the tires get melty and you have one off and try to get back on the track and they're still melty, the tendency of these cars to just immediately spin again just goes up and up and up. And just you can see now he's having trouble just getting it going in a straight line.
I believe Ryan is also our only controller player here. And, you know, just having a trigger for a gas pedal, it's just, you don't have much range there. It's really tough. You know, he can really make it work in a lot of cars, but it seems he's really struggling here.
Yeah, throttle control is definitely the name of the game in a car as sensitive as this one. So the fact that he's able to bring this thing around at all is a credit to his skill with the controller.
Ooh, another lockup from Dave. Same corner too.
He's not letting up at the end of this race. He still thinks he's got something to give here. James Leader crossing the front stretch with 36 seconds to go now, entering turn 1. This will be the final lap of the race. Bray with another 1:35.0. Harris with a 1:35.1. Those are very good laps, but too little too late to catch James Leader. He now has to bring it home. He's enjoying a 9-second gap back to second place. .137 for Martin, 1:38 for May, so their tires definitely going away on them, and they're just trying to limp it home and not make any more visits to the margins of the track.
And you know Dave has to be thinking about the last lap of the last race.
Yeah. Well, at least he's far enough ahead now that he doesn't have to worry about getting into a battle with the leader. But yeah, he really
is true.
Just needs to keep it clean and bring it home. You can see all the tracks through the sand and the grass that have accumulated over the 2 races. There's been a lot of excursions to the lesser visited parts of the track.
Got some very expensive lawnmowers going around here.
That is it. Coming out of the final corner now, the number 12 Camel car of James Leader makes it a double, taking the win again at Mugello in both races tonight. Jeffrey Bray bringing it home in second tonight, and Harris with another podium. Probably the best session of the season for DJ Harris. 2 podium finishes. Dave Martin in fourth, just trying to survive this race and bring it home.
Looks like he's gonna get it.
A bit of pizzazz at the end. JP May crossing in 5th place. Lanradiel only 3 seconds in front of Medina, but he looks like he's going to hold on there. Medina bringing it home in 7th. And Ryan C. on the controller, only 1 lap down in 8th place. 2:38. That's that lap time tells a story that he most likely does not want to repeat to anyone.
Yeah, that's about what he feels like right there. Just let it go.
Harris taking a well-deserved victory lap around the corner. What a session for him. 2 races, 2 podium finishes. I think that might be our prime target for